There is no worse feeling than seeing your traffic and revenue plummeting. A traffic drop analysis is critical for understanding why your traffic dropped and what you can do to recover revenue. So don't worry, we'll walk you through exactly what we do to recover from an SEO traffic drop. This step-by-step process is exactly what we did in a recent audit for a major brand that had been falling in the rankings for years. I will walk with you through how to do a Google Analytics performance review, pinpointing the exact Google updates that are affecting your revenue. We'll then export the pages and keywords that dropped, causing this revenue loss. What we can do with this data is look at those keywords historically, using tools to see before and after the traffic drop to see what changed and really investigate the nitty-gritty. From there, we'll look at conclusions, hypothesis, why did the traffic drop, and what we can do to recover it. We'll go into a couple nitty-gritties like backlinks and technical SEO, but I'll try to keep it concise enough so that you can derive exact insights on your website's performance. Let's jump into Google Analytics. So first off, we already have a small problem, which is that if you're looking over long periods of time, then now you have both GA4 as well as Universal Analytics or the old Google Analytics. So first I start within our GA4 account. And so if you go into acquisition, traffic acquisition, this is where we're going to first start to check out some of the traffic as well as revenue. Google Search Console gives you a little bit more insight, and we'll jump into there soon. The reason I start with GA is just because you get revenue data. And of course, at the end of the day, revenue is what matters. Jump into acquisition, traffic acquisition, and then you're going to have all of your channels displayed here, from organic search to referral, email, and paid shopping. You have all kinds of channels here, a lot of good details you can look at here. You can look at revenue, as well as how revenue from different channels has changed from before and after the traffic drop, or from any period you'd like. From here, I'm going up to the date period, and I'm just changing it to last year. So all of 2023. Now, if we go before that, so 2022, you can see there's a small problem, which is that the traffic, the data stops coming in because that was when they transferred from Universal Analytics, the old GA, to GA4. We're going to just look at 2023, and then what we're going to do is we're going to filter this view by organic traffic. So go up to here to the add filter, and we're going to look for medium. We're going to look at session medium. We're going to say match type, exactly match. And we're going to look at the value. We're going to just check mark this organic here. We're going to click apply. And now we're looking at just our SEO data, traffic from organic, aka SEO. This is an e-commerce website, so we also have organic shopping. If you don't have this listed in your e-commerce store, you have a big problem. Organic shopping can be great. So now we have our traffic graph here, as well as the website's revenue, which is very nice. And we can already see a traffic drop. So over here in March, we were getting about 300 clicks on a good day, and then we dropped down to about 230 on a good day. We have a big drop here. Hard to say at this point whether this just might be an analytics anomaly, but then we go up pretty quickly, but still we're rarely ever hitting that 300 mark. I don't think I see one day where we get back up to that 300 mark. So I'll go and do a couple comparisons here. I'll check out the channels and everything like that. But the main purpose of this Google Analytics review is just to see where are all channels at currently, so last year, and then compare them between every year previous. And so then we jump into our Google Universal Analytics, and we look at every year and how revenue and traffic has changed to get an overall view of the website, especially as in this case, we're working with an old brand that has a history. We add this all into a Google Slides presentation for the revenue drop analysis. This just lets us know how revenue has changed over time and really get a scope of the impact of the different Google updates and all of that. Here, we've already identified that March might be a problem period. And if you've researched, there is a March Google update. So identify little traffic drops and see what updates are relevant to it. If your traffic drop was just in the last 16 months, SEOtesting.com has this great feature where it looks at the data and cross-reference it with all of the Google updates. So here we have the March core update, the product reviews update, and various different updates that show us what might be the affecting updates of your traffic drop. But before we get carried away into Google Search Console, I want to share more of Google Analytics. You want to go back to your GA Universal Analytics and look year by year to see the traffic drop and the revenue drop. It's critical not to only see the recent update, but also see what other updates have affected your website that you may have not even realized about. Because maybe revenue wasn't hit as bad, but Google still lowered your traffic. This is critical because you need to see where your website is failing. That will allow us to understand the key points that Google has devalued your website at, that we can reinstate and we can improve upon to grow and cover your revenue. For Universal Analytics, we're just going to go into Acquisition and then go down here to Overview. Within Overview, we have all of our channels, just like with GA4, organic search being the highest. We have the revenue numbers as well. And we even have e-commerce conversion rate over time. We're looking at the time period, the beginning of 2022, to the point when they transferred to GA4 and this property stopped processing data. But this is very useful because here we can see more traffic drop analysis. As you can see, there is fluctuations over time for this traffic. Now, this is for all channels right now, and we can compare it to the previous year just by clicking compare to previous period or previous year. These are all useful data points because if we review by the previous year, we can see that over time they've had continuous decreases in organic traffic. So here is an 18% decrease, as well as a 9% decrease in conversion rate and revenue. So this is a very useful view. From here, you can click into organic search to see your overall traffic graph over time and how that has changed. And now we see something amazing, right? So if we look at this traffic graph, it is going down. Now that's not amazing, but it's a good insight and very useful for our analysis. We can see that over time, their traffic has been declining. So not only do we look at the Google Search Console report over the last 16 months, which is all the data Google Search Console can give you, we also have for the last 5 years, 10 years, however long your brand has been on Google Analytics. And we can cross-reference all of the updates that have gone on over this period. I can't overstate how important the analytics side of traffic drop analysis is because it frames your whole hypothesis. So now that we found about 8 to 10 updates that were affecting the website, mostly negative, but sometimes positive, and we can review and research each one of those updates. You can even go to Google Search Status Dashboard on google.com from them that shows you all of the Google ranking updates from 2023, 2022, and onward, up until 2020. From there, you're gonna have to do additional research. But this gives you almost all of the updates that may be affecting your website. So you can look at each one of these. So look at November 2023 and see if you can identify some point where the traffic started to decline. If so, you may be affected by this update. So for this analysis, we saw that March 2023, this core update affected the website. And if we click into here, they don't give us a ton of data. We're gonna have to do more research, but they give us a couple things. They give us when the rollout was completed, which was March 23 or 28th, and when it started, which was the 22nd of March. Google updates always have this period of rolling out, And so the traffic drop may happen anytime during that period. It can fluctuate during that period, or it may even decline after that period. But once we have the name of the update, so the March 2023 core update, we can start to do research just by searching that in Google. And we can look at SEMRush, Google Search Engine Land. Search Engine Land is usually a good resource. And we can see the different updates, search for March, and we can see sort of what it's all about. This part of the process really does take research. The Google updates, especially the core updates, are pretty elusive in terms of what changed during that period. I recommend looking at Twitter, looking at influencers, and speaking to colleagues and investigating and speaking to professionals on what people have seen that actually affect. For example, I spoke with a peer of mine who has a website in the medical niche for the March core update. And what he revealed to me is that a lot of this update is around EAT as well as internal linking. And it affects primarily medical websites. And so if you look on SEMRush at any medical website during March, you almost always see either a traffic drop or a traffic increase. And that's actually hard information to come by. But this Google core update is primarily targeting medical websites, and it has a big influence on internal linking as well as EEAT signals. And so already we have a baseline hypothesis that we're going to develop over the period of the analysis. Again, I would review for every year before, and we can see here from 2021 to the previous year, we have a 20% decrease in revenue. We can also see all of the channels to see which channels decreased and which didn't. All of this is useful information to understand your website's performance. We drop that into our report, and then let's step into Google Search Console. So you're gonna search Google Search Console and jump into your Google Search Console. From there, we're gonna look at the full report to see all of our traffic over time, and we're gonna change this date to be the last 16 months to get as much traffic data as we can for our analysis. Instantly, we see the problem. There is a major traffic drop, and it's in March. So we have a clear point on when to analyze before and after for our pages and our keywords. And we have an exact update that we can claim is the issue for this website. Okay, so now we need a pre-drop and a post-drop period of time to compare before and after. So we're gonna come in here, we're gonna see that about March 13th is the period when things started going downhill. So we're gonna identify that, March 13th. We're gonna go over here to the start of our data, which is October 23rd. This is gonna be the period of time that we qualify as the pre-drop period of time. This is when our traffic and rankings were in a better state, and now we need a post period of time. And so I do like to go and find more of where the rankings have stabilized a little bit. So we're gonna just come a little bit over here and say April 25th, and we're gonna start our comparison period for the post period of time as April 25th, and we want that to be the same length. So sometimes you have to play around with this a little bit, but we're gonna come up to date and click compare. We're gonna click custom, and the first one is gonna be our post period, and the second one is gonna be our pre-period. So the pre-period is a little bit easier because we already have here October 23rd. For this one, we saw it would be March 13th. So we're just gonna pop that in there, and you can also use this to do this as well. So that is the pre-period. We know that pretty well. Now, all we have to do is determine how many days this is, and you can just use ChatGPT if you want, and then create a period afterwards from that period of time, April 25th, that we deduce should be the stabilization period, to a same amount of days after that, which I already determined is September, like that, for this period of time. We're going to click apply, and then we have our drop comparison analysis. So as we can see, this dotted line is the before, and the strong line, bolded line, is the after. And already we can see a massive traffic drop. they lost 40% of clicks, 48% of impressions. And we're going to click on this position. We see a 14% down in their ranking positions. So this view is extremely useful for your SEO traffic drop analysis. It will show us the exact pages and keywords that have declined. Now, since this is a client's portfolio, I can't review the exact keywords, but we can come down here and see the click difference. So if I organize this by lowest click differences, we can see that this keyword dropped dramatically from 205 down to 12. So you got a 94% click decrease. And the same happens for a lot of these keywords. And so these are the keywords we're going to analyze to see what changed in the Google SERPs that would reflect such a traffic decline. We can also come over here to pages and do the same with our pages. What pages dropped in traffic? And so we're going to look at this click draft. We're going to click it upwards, and we're going to see which pages dropped the most. This can tell you whether it's product page dropping, whether it's your product category pages, or your blog, or maybe your affiliate best of articles versus your informational articles, or whatever it is. You can look at specific page types and see which patterns you can find. And that will deduce your search a little bit more, especially for your recovery stage of, should we focus on products? Should we focus on categories? Should we focus on this or that? You give a better idea here. Now we're going to go up here and we're going to click export, and we're going to export to Google Sheets. So this will just export everything to a Google Sheet with the traffic drop that we can analyze. This makes things just a little bit easier. This view gives you the queries as well as the pages that dropped. And now what I like to do is I'm going to format this a little bit for you. So we're going to give ourselves a little bit more room to breathe. And we're going to see the after period as well as the before period. And we're just going to click to create a column and then check out the gaps in this data. And so it's going to recommend you do that. I am just going to change that to the other way around. And we have this. So now we have essentially created the click gap between the before period and the after period. This is what is already shown in Google Search Console here, as well as I have this extension that shows the percentages. Comment below if you want access to that. But in a Google Sheet, it becomes a little bit easier. Not to mention, you can also export all of your keywords rather than just 1,000, which is just what Google Search Console gives us. But this will give you enough of analysis for a initial draft of your traffic analysis. We can also conditionally format this to be red when it's negative and green when it's positive. Again, this just gives us a better view. And we'll do the same for impressions as well as position. Now we can filter and organize by the best pages, so the increases, or the worst offenders. So you're going to start at the worst offenders. Now that we have all of the worst offenders, we're going to jump over to SEMRush, take one of those keywords. I'm going to use dog harness as an example, and we're going to run that through the keyword overview tool. Now, why this is so great is that we have the keyword here. We also have the search results, and we can see all the current search results showing up are on this keyword. From there, we can see we have this date here. We can actually look at the historical data of SEMRush that they've had for years on this term and see how our personal website has changed in the SERPs. So this is the actual state of the Google search engine. But say we wanted to go to back before March, where March 23 was our core update. We want to see what does it look like on February 2020. And we can scroll down and we can look at the search results, which are incredibly different. We see before we had rough there. Let's look up dog harness. Before or now, we have this Roughwear brand here. Now, back in February, we had PetSmart, Amazon, Chewy, and Roughwear was at position 4, which is just in general interesting as in to see What was their strategy to get from 4 to 1? But maybe, and we see this Easy Dog as well, and we see Amazon down there. But if we're PetSmart, then we have a problem. We can see that we went from position 1 to, search PetSmart here, to position 7. And so they have probably had a traffic drop that we can see here. So this is fundamentally how to analyze the historic SERPs, seeing how your keywords have changed from before and after the traffic drop. You'll want to do this for all of your major keywords that dropped to try to figure out what really changed from before and after. There's a lot of reasons why keywords can drop. Some of the commonly quoted ones by people like Mary Haynes is search intent changes. So search intent can actually change. Maybe dog harness at one point was more informational. People wanted to learn about what is a dog harness, etc. And so your blog ranked there. And then it changed from informational to more commercial, and they started showing more purchasing pages, so product categories and so on. This kind of search intent change can happen a lot, especially in medical, where you might have medical journals starting to show up way more often. And this is also a very hard thing to work on or to recover from. So you want to look at search intent changes and also relevance changes. Is your page still the best page to rank? Perhaps you need to come in there and improve it and see if you can actually create a better, more relevant page for the term. These are two reasons why search result pages can change. But you can also see what competitors that are now ranking above you did. So perhaps Roughwear started adding more blogs in their category pages and did a UX change to make the page better. Maybe they're building more links. So you can also, sometimes it's just competitors outcompeting you with better SEO. Now, at this point, you should be starting to form your hypothesis. You're looking at Google search results, seeing how they have changed, how competitors have increased above you, and so on. Is it a search intent shift, or is the content quality on your website not as good as competitors? Or do they have more backlinks, and so on? From here, we go into an in-depth competitor traffic analysis to see all competitors, gathering a full list, and seeing how they increased or dropped. So on our medical case study, we looked at all the medical websites in that same industry and saw how they increased and dropped and what changes are on the different websites. So why did one increase while the other dropped? And there's so many reasons for why a traffic drop can happen. It could be internal linking. It can be backlinks. It can be content quality, or it can just be Google being annoying. You always have a third party in the SEO relationship between the client, yourself, SEO expert, as well as Google, who is sometimes just doing one. You also have EAT signals that might be off on your website, author pages, qualifying backlinks, all of these kinds of things. These are some of your hypotheses you may need to generate. We create a list of all competitors, who dropped, who increased, and an analysis for what they did correct or what they did wrong that is leading to that traffic drop. Oftentimes we find incorrect internal linking to be a major problem for traffic drop, as that ranking factor has increased over time, and that leads to a traffic decline for your website, as well as EAT signals, which some competitors are doing better and others are doing worse. From this keyword analysis, you should start to get some competitors, as well as potential reasons for why those keywords dropped. In certain cases, we have found toxic backlinks to be a major problem for traffic drop analysis as well. Using tools like link research tools is really the only way to determine toxicity of backlinks. And it's $600 a month, which is unfortunate. But tools like SEMRush Toxic Backlinks Report really don't do anything for your organic SEO. And so I recommend not even using them and focusing, if you have a reason to believe you have toxic backlinks, to use link research tools and make the investment, or hire a team like mine that have done this for years. When disavowing toxic links towards your website, you need to make sure to rejuvenate your backlink profile using link building campaigns to get half a dozen or so links towards your website every month while you are disavowing toxic links. You'll also need to do a technical audit and all kinds of things if you have a serious traffic drop. So I hope this was useful to start getting insights on why your traffic may have dropped. If you do have this situation, please reach out to me either in the comments, DM on Facebook or LinkedIn, or on my website where you can book a call with me directly. I think this case is incredibly important to have a professional analyze it and see how you can improve your traffic. I hope that you gained insights. If you did, let me know in the comments. Give this video a like for more people to see it in case their website needs a recovery and is losing traffic rapidly. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time. Have a great day.